Communications is about to get real bad for Tucker Carlson and one Don Lemon. Now, guys, Don Lemon is an interesting cat. He's an interesting cat. The longtime CNN reporter slash anchor, 17 years at CNN, rather impressive. Most media people, I mean, that's old school media, one place working for a long time. You don't hear about that. Excuse me. Don Lemon, 17 years at CNN. He too showed up for work. he too showed up for work and found his desk packed the fuck up and security waiting for him and everybody asking him for his key card. Don, do you have the keys to the executive bathroom? We're going to need that back. Don, we're going to send you your Cobra paperwork. Y'all know I've been fired. I know all about the Cobra paperwork. Oh, Lord. Don, we're going to send you your Cobra package. So, send it to your agent. Okay, we get that over to him. Apparently a surprise to Don Lemon because he tweeted that, management did not have the decency to come tell him to his face that he was fired. He had to hear about it through the grapevine, et cetera, et cetera. The reasons why Don Lemon was fired, I cannot even begin to speculate. It's come out in some recent reports. I think there was a GQ profile about Don Lemon and, some whisperers in the background had alleged that Don had not been nice to some of his woman coworkers. In fact, when I was doing a little bit of research to talk about this today, I found an old piece on Mediaite, and it was from a while ago. Do you guys remember Goldie Taylor? Another light skin they put on TV. Says the light skin, right? Another one of them light skins they put on fucking TV. But she did cable commentary, political commentary for a while, and I found this old piece on Mediaite.com where Goldie Taylor alleged that the reason she's not on CNN anymore is because Don Lemon blacklisted her basically, or put the word out, or said something negative to the higher ups that they don't book her anymore as of the publishing of that piece several years ago. So it doesn't shock me that Don Lemon seems to have a bit of a misogyny problem. We would hope, but I was going to say we would hope from our LGBTQ brothers, especially that, understanding the way that homophobia works, that, we would hope our gay brubs would not be misogynist, but they are men at the end of the day. So misogyny, that misogynistic current obviously does not have any sexual orientation preference, because some men just don't like women, or I don't know what it is. But Don Lemon definitely seemed to have that problem. And some are even speculating that his unexpected termination is in part because of the comments that he made recently about former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, where commenting about her age, he said that she was past her prime. I thought that was kind of fucked up, but I actually found a different recent exchange a little bit more telling, and actually, in my opinion, kind of more offensive than what he said about Nikki Haley. Well, maybe if not more offensive, equally as offensive. Let's not say more or less. Yeah, I will put these levels of offense on equal footing. I want to show you guys this, because we're going to hit a couple of Don Lemon's greatest misses. And this was one of them. So this was in relation to a discussion, and this is where the clip is going to pick up, where it's Don Lemon and two women co-hosts. And let me underscore, I say woman on purpose, because when motherfuckers say female, it makes my skin crawl. I hate when women say females. I hate when men say females. Nigga, I think, what I think about when I hear females? Crabs. They're male crabs and female crabs. That's how we describe crabs in the state of Maryland. I describe women as women, not his female co-host. No, his women co-host. So anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make that point of distinction really quick. So this clip is going to pick up with Don Lemon and two women co-hosts, and they're discussing the pay disparity between the women's national soccer team and the men's national soccer team. The women's national soccer team, of course, being winners. The American women have won the Women's World Cup a bunch of times, or at least a couple. They done real good, but the men, they don't go no fucking where. They're a bunch of losers, and somehow the men's national soccer team still makes more money than the winners than the women. And the women on this clip are obviously befuddled. And of course, here comes Don Lemon to mansplain the situation. Let's take a listen.
If there is more interest in a men's sport, the business people, the people who make money off of sports, will put that on television because we live in a capitalist society. And if people are interested in that, then there would be more attention and more money would be paid. So it's about the money.
But here's the thing, and this is the point that I was making that goes to that, which is, why is that what people are watching? It's because it's what they're used to watching. Why is it because it's what they're used to watching? Because men were putting men's sports on TV way before women's sports. Yes. So it's this systemic, institutionalized thing. No, I'm not done yet.
They are just more interested in it.
But why are they more? But you're missing my point. Why are they more interested? Because men's sports has been around longer. People have been paying attention to it more. There have been these amazing female sports stars that have only become household names in recent decades. That's the point. And I'm saying if they had both started at the exact same point, they both received the same amount of marketing and promotion and all that stuff, and then we got to where we are today, that would be a different point.
Guess what? Big media giants, big advertisers. This is another opportunity to put the money where your mouth is.
I don't believe that's accurate. I respect your point, and I hear what you're saying. I don't believe that's accurate. We live in a capitalist society, and if people can make money off of whatever it is, they are going to exploit it. And there is a reason, and I'm sure it's part of what you are saying, and it's part of what you're saying. And these are conversations that we need to have. But I just think that we are lying to ourselves if we believe that someone cannot sit here and speak the truth to what we're.
Can I read you a headline? This is a fact that my smart producer Annie gave me. Quote from Forbes: "The fastest growing audiences on TV are for women's sports."
Growing.
But that's because they're missing the point. They're coming at a later starting point than men's sports were. That's the whole point here.
You bitches are just lesser, says Don Lemon. Nobody wants to watch you hoes run up and down the field. says Don Lemon. Capitalism ain't interested in that shit. It's men or nothing, bitch. What? Let me tell you something. That sort of overt misogyny, I don't think is the reason that Don Lemon got fired. Because, again, this is not his first rodeo saying sideways shit to women on air, right? I really think that it was probably something off air, something that was said to either another coworker. I have a feeling it was not related to anything that Don Lemon has said or that was part of his broadcast. That I don't think that. I think this was something probably a little bit more human relations, right? So do me a favor, Will. Let's cue up that next Don Lemon clip, because I'm going to tell y'all why a respectable ass coon like Don Lemon is going to be A-okay, everybody. And this next clip that I'm about to play is about to sum it all up. Because now, if you think you can't keep a good white supremacist propagandist like Tucker Carlson down, please don't think you can't keep a respectability ass coon like Don Lemon down. Because Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon are who these newsrooms want in their seats, okay? It was, again, hilarious that Tucker Carlson even mentioned that someone like me is an ally in mainstream newsrooms across this country. To the contrary, like you are not going to find, even on so-called black outlets, urban outlets, I'm talking mainstream outlets here, traditional TV and radio, people with my perspectives are not welcome, okay? The stories that I would pitch in the newsroom, not the ones that NBC4 wants to hear, not the ones that even fucking CNN wants to hear. And there's a reason for that. And folks like Don Lemon, we're talking about black folks particularly, not just Don Lemon, who, I mean, I told y'all I don't like to bomb on Joy Reid, but I got to throw Joy Reid in there. Who else I got to throw in there? See, I don't watch cable news, so I'm drawing a blank. But even other types of outlets, Charlemagne the God, another one. Like, there is a certain type of Negro that gets elevated and gets amplified into these positions because they don't challenge any aspect of the status quo of these systems that most black people are experiencing, and especially, as me as a woman, that women experience. Those chicks didn't even. Anyway, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna play this clip, and this is why Don Lemon's gonna be fucking K. Will roll that shit.
Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now is the N-word. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the massa intended, acting like a nigger? Now, number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. A high school dropout makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison. And the cycle continues.
The school to prison pipeline is also an express lane right to prison there, Don Lemon. And I guess, these black people that you're wagging your finger at. I just want to know, where's the advice for the white folks? Like where's the advice for the white people? Like, if you have all this advice for black people, basically what you're saying is that white people are living right, right? Everybody else is living right except for you darkies, says Don Lemon. And here are the 5 tips to success. Number 1, pull your pants up. He borrowed that immediately from Bill Cosby. And to quote one of our great black leaders, Bill Cosby, pull your pants up. Because clearly young black children are the only ones sagging their pants, or rather the only ones criticized or criminalized for it. You understand? Like Don Lemon, the way that he lives in this respectability oblivion in which white supremacy doesn't influence black people's life outcomes, as though racism doesn't affect it, as though lack of healthcare doesn't affect it, as though lack of quality education doesn't affect it. Our team member here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown works in public schools, guys. These kids in school systems that are not serving them drop the fuck out of school because get a degree for what? These niggas, they're not even teaching the kids how to read, do math, any of the basic things, and these children know that. So for all this advice and finger wagging that Don Lemon does, that is why I call him a coon. And because that is all coon rhetoric, that is all coonish advice. I would love to see that same sort of critique levied at white supremacy, at capitalism, and for Don Lemon to include in his cultural critique of black folks the ways in which white supremacy, racism, and capitalism impact those exact things that he talked about, right? It's just so preposterous. When I hear respectable Negroes like that talk about what black folks need to do, because the unspoken thing is that white people are doing it perfectly or doing it better. I said, clearly, you don't know white folks. He talks about, I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods, and I can tell you, oh, have you now? Oh, so they don't go knocking over the mailboxes. Again, let me tell you what the white kids I knew who lived in the rich neighborhoods did on the weekends. When they were driving around the country roads, drunk driving, might I add, these kids would take baseball bats and knock over people's mailboxes, right? Is that not vandalism? Is that not a form of litter? They would go to people's farms. I would hear my white classmates from high school come in Monday morning, again, still hungover, might I add, in high school. They would come back into class, talk about how they went cow tipping. I mean, white kids do goofy shit. You feel me? Like they knock over people's mailboxes, they go cow tipping, toilet paper their neighborhoods. Like, don't talk to me about the vandalism and the littering that black people do in their neighborhoods. White folks just clean up they shit quicker. They just clean up they shit quicker. That's it. But trust me, a nigga talking like that is going to get a job real quick. Real quick. Fret not. Fret not. Because there are people that do subscribe to Don Lemon's brand of bullshit. I was searching in vain trying to find a clip when Don Lemon was posted up in Ferguson after the murder of Michael Brown. And them Ferguson, the Missouri niggas ran him the fuck up off the block that day. I was looking for that. I was like, God damn, why couldn't I find that when they told Don Lemon to get the fuck off the block? Because that was classic. I loved it. But again, I don't really have I am usually sympathetic and empathetic to people in the media field when they lose their jobs, especially losing their jobs unexpectedly, some shit that they weren't, walking into work thinking was going to happen that day. Part of me has some compassion in that direction, but not for a coon ass respectability nigga like that. Because that's how he got his job. That's how he kept his job. And that's how he's going to get another top flight, well compensated job talking that same shit. He might even go over to Fox. That sounds like some Larry Elder shit, does it not? The thing that Don Lemon just ran down. He might even go over to Fox, ladies and gentlemen. So don't cry for Don, Argentina. Everything's gonna be okay. But don't let people. I saw a tiny bit of this on Twitter, but I didn't stay too long on Twitter to really get the full temperature. But Don Lemon is not some martyr out here. Don Lemon is not somebody that we need to feel empathy for. Don Lemon is a pound cake purveyor, right? A pound cake speech purveyor. Pull your pants up, black people. Don't have babies out of wedlock, black people. Da 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 da. Where's your criticism for America, Don Lemon? Where's your criticism for the ways that people's labor is exploited and most people can't afford to live, eat, pay rent, have health care, send their kids to a quality school? Like, again, where are those criticisms? There are none. Because you cannot criticize the system that America is built upon and expect to have a job on a mainstream cable network at any time. Prime time, morning time, drive time, whatever. They will never let somebody on television in one of those slots talking that shit. Talking that real radical revolutionary shit. It'll never happen. So fuck Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon. Just for the record, fuck white supremacy, fuck respectability, fuck those people that make their careers off of propagating those things specifically. I just love that it came on the same day. That was a bit of a surprise. I said, ooh. Twofer. Go ahead, Mercury in retrograde. Mercury in retrograde came out swinging, and I am here for the shit. So